All right, today we're going to dig into a really fascinating piece of tech that's designed to completely rewire how we think about internet access, especially in remote places. It's called the WISP in a box, or the Sovereign node.
So let's kick things off with the big question that really frames this whole idea. What if you could take something that's normally just a cost, like providing Wi-Fi to campground or a remote worksite, and flip it, turning it into an automated machine that actually makes you money? Well, that's the promise we're exploring today.
And look, the folks who made this aren't just selling you some networking gear. What they've done is package up what they call an entire autonomous internet business, and they've put it all into a single tough-as-nails box. And here it is, the Sovereign WISP Kit. The whole point is to take a cost center, that internet bill you pay every month, and turn it into a profit center by letting you sell connectivity to people almost instantly, even if you're completely off-grid. So, what's actually in this box? Let's pop the lid, so to speak, and break down the key pieces of hardware and software that make this whole system tick. So, inside the kit, you're going to find 3 core pieces of hardware. You've got the Sovereign Sentry Pro, you get 2 mesh beacons, and 1 Nomad link. And each one of these has a very specific job to do. I love how this slide simplifies their roles. Think of it like this. The Sovereign Sentry, that's the brain. It runs the whole show. The mesh beacons are the megaphones, blasting out that Wi-Fi signal. And then you have the Nomad link, which is like the lifeboat. It's a cellular backup that makes sure your payment system and your network stay online, even if your main internet connection goes down. But honestly, the hardware is only half the story. The real magic here is the software, which the creators call the Tollbooth agent. This is the piece that automates the entire business. It acts like a digital gatekeeper, using what's called a captive portal. You know, that web page that pops up when you try to log into the Wi-Fi at an airport or a coffee shop? It's that. It controls who gets on, it processes all the payments, and it measures out exactly how much data each person paid for.
So how does this toll booth actually generate revenue? Let's dive into the actual business model here.
First up, the investment. The whole bundle, the hardware and the software, has a suggested retail price of $1,749. That's your one-time cost to get this business in a box up and running. And here's the other side of that equation. The entire system is built to sell data to people passing through. Think campers, tourists, temporary workers, at a retail rate. The example they give is $5 a gigabyte. You can see pretty quickly how the potential for a return on that initial investment starts to look very, very real. And for the actual user, the person buying the Wi-Fi, the whole process is incredibly seamless. There's no front desk to go to, no password to ask for. A visitor just connects to the signal, their phone gets sent to a payment page, they pay with a credit card or even crypto, and bam, the software gives them exactly 1 gigabyte of access. Once that runs out, it just prompts them to buy more. It's totally hands-off.
You know, what's really smart about this is that it's not just about selling Wi-Fi to people. The kit actually opens up 2 completely different revenue streams. On one side, you got high-speed Wi-Fi for people, based on those pay-as-you-go microtransactions. But on the other side, it's also broadcasting a LoRaWAN signal. That's a long-range, low-power network that's perfect for Internet of Things devices, like sensors on a farm or monitors on a gate. You can then lease that connectivity out to nearby businesses, like a local farm, for a flat monthly fee.
Okay, so right about now, if you're thinking about setting one of these up, you're probably also thinking about all the potential headaches. Well, the good news is this system has some really clever rules and protections built right in to handle those concerns. So yeah, let's talk about those risks. How do you stop one person from hogging all the bandwidth and ruin it for everyone else? What about legal liability? And hey, how do you make sure you're not violating Starlink's own terms of service? This slide lays out the solutions pretty clearly. To stop bandwidth hogs, the software puts a speed limit on every single user. To stay compliant with Starlink, the software is designed to only work with their official enterprise plans. And to protect you, the operator, from legal trouble, it isolates every user from each other and keeps connection logs for 90 days, just in case. They've really thought this through. So when you put all of these pieces together, you realize this isn't just about technology. It's really about empowering a whole new kind of entrepreneur, the off-grid entrepreneur. So who's the target market? Well, it's exactly who you'd expect. RV park owners, people running ecotourism lodges, remote mining camps, big farms. Basically, anyone who has land and a need for internet. But it also taps into this growing movement of digital nomads and remote work, creating opportunities for what the creators call sovereign entrepreneurs.
people who want to build their own decentralized, self-sustaining businesses.
And just to give you a sense of scale here, that standard kit with its 2 megaphone beacons can cover a pretty huge area. We're talking about 5 to 10 acres, typically, with a solid Wi-Fi signal. And that IoT signal, that goes even further, up to 3 miles.
This quote from their own documentation really just sums up the entire idea perfectly. The goal here isn't to sell you a router and a couple of access points. The goal is to sell you a complete, automated business that you can set up pretty much anywhere you can get a Starlink signal.
And that really leaves us with one last big question to think about. When you have technology like this that basically democratizes the very infrastructure of the internet, are we looking at the future of how rural and remote communities get online? It's a pretty powerful thought.